Ayo, what is groovy? What is good? It's your boy Papa Capes, and we are back with yet another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you so much to Raid for sponsoring this video and for hooking us up with our own download link that you can find in the description below. If you or one of your friends or anybody in your community is looking at starting a Raid journey for the first time or maybe the 10th time, feel free to use that link in the description below. It directly supports me and directly supports the channel, yo. When starting with that link, you'll be greeted with Tholen Foulbeard right off the bat, and as you progress just a little bit, you'll then receive Ugo, Tagore, and Mausoleum Mage. Right now is a great time to start Raid. Why? Because you can use code RAID7 and get Pelops the Victor, or use code Wrath and get Padraig. Another reason that makes right now a great time to start Raid is because you'll also get a third legendary on the 7th day of logging in, which will be Skeletor. Yes, Skeletor has returned, so get started right now and vibe out. We out here having a great time, baby. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a singular champion. One champion that when I pulled him, I wasn't sure about him at all. Didn't think he was going to impact my account, because also when I pulled him, I was still a lot earlier in the game than I am now. And all I wanted was nuker, and more nukers, because in my opinion at that stage, all I wanted to do was deal damage. But then I pulled this champion and I genuinely did not expect them to be as important as they are on my account currently. And that champion is Glaicad of the Meltwater. Yes, Sylvan Watch's support champion Glaicad, who has been extremely valuable on my account, and to be honest, I underrated him. Initially when I pulled him, I wasn't ecstatic. I didn't know much about him, didn't know much about the Sylvan Watchers. The only Sylvan Watcher I had at that moment was Lemonisi. Today I'm just going to be talking about why I feel he's the most underrated champion on my account. This doesn't mean that I see him as a meta champion. This doesn't mean that I'm comparing him. This is purely his impact on my account, and yes, he has changed my account. So I'm not saying go out there and hope you can find a Glaicad. I'm just talking about my experience with him. A crucial thing to note is that Glaicad was the first champion I built in Bolster. So what does Bolster do? 4 pieces of Bolster gives you protected 30% HP ally shield for 3 turns. It also heals the wearer by 10% every single turn. And we currently have him in Bolster, Protection, Stone Skin, and Feral. Just to take a look at his stats, we're chilling at about 78k HP, 2.5k attack, 3,700 defense, 216 speed, 50% crit rate, 125% crit damage, 121 resistance, and 271 accuracy. I find myself using him in so many different areas within Raid currently. As you can see, we've got him in speed boots with a speed ascension, lucky us, HP percent chest, HP percent gloves. In terms of the accessories, we've got him in a flat defense amulet, which I'm not really too happy about, but we've got him in an accuracy banner with an accuracy ascension on that as well. This isn't me going, hey guys, build your Glaicad the way I built mine. This is purely me talking about my experience and the transition of that experience from when I pulled him to being like, meh, just another Lego, to now being like, ayo, Glaicad is fire. Let me say, one of the only things that initially excited me about Glaicad was his multi-AoE revive on his A3. His A3 revives all dead allies with 40% HP and 25% turn meter. It then also places a 50% increased accuracy buff and a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 3 turns. These buffs will be placed even if no allies were revived. If no allies were revived by the skill, it then grants this champion an extra turn. So that's the thing that became most appealing to me when I initially pulled Glaicad. Why? When I pulled him initially, the only revivers I had was Rector. She does single revive. Artor, he does single revive. I had Ugo, who does an AoE revive, but she only revives when she's the last champion alive. So Glaicad came in and was my first, like, bam, regardless of what, I'm going to be reviving the entire team. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is kind of dope. And having this on a 4-turn cooldown as well is massive in my opinion. So what does that then do for my team? That then gets a lot of my damage dealers back into the fight a lot quicker than Rector would do. Because let's say Rector's the only one alive, and she then has to revive Mikey, and then wait for that to come off cooldown, and then revive Gallic, and wait for that to come off cooldown. However, Glaicad now comes in and is like, yo, 1 turn, everybody up, get back to work, yo. You know what I'm saying? That's a big difference, and that's why that excited me initially. But let's not neglect his A1 and his A2 as well. His A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. If the target has 50% HP or less, this debuff cannot be resisted, which I find awesome. He literally helped a ton in clearing faction wars for Sylvan Watchers in normal, and I also use him in Fire Knight hard. Onto his A2 we go, places a 50% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. He also has an 80% chance to place a perfect veil buff on all allies except themselves for 2 turns. Then he proceeds to fill the turn meter of all allies by 15%. So as you can see, he comes in clutch. He comes in clutch with enabling other champions, with supporting these champions, and just allowing for them to shine a bit more. Most of them being damage dealers, your attack champions, and that's why I love Glaicad. He's like, ayo, the only time I want the spotlight is when you're all dead. I'll bring you back to life. Other than that, let me provide you guys with the utility you need to be in the spotlight. Love that. He's also got a passive. Allies under a perfect veil buff placed by this champion deal 10% more damage. Allies under a perfect veil buff placed by this champion deal an additional 10% damage to enemies under veil or perfect veil buffs. Passive is cool, solid. However, a big impact he made on my account was his aura. He was the first champion I had. Before Ezio, Glaicad was the first champion I had that provided a speed aura in all battles of 19%. This is why initially I started using him everywhere. Not necessarily because of the utility, not because of the revives, not because of any other part of his kit, but mainly because of an aura that provided additional speed in all battles. That's what introduced me to Glaicad, but that's not what made me fall in love with Glaicad. We've then also got Glaicad in a Brimstone Blessing, which also just adds some additional damage. It's only a 2-star Awakened Blessing, so once we get this up to 5 or 6-star even, it's going to be a lot more impactful than what it is now. But I already absolutely love Glaicad. I love the way he's impacted my account, so I'll take him as he is for now whilst we work towards securing additional souls. If we look at the relic I've got on him, I've currently got Journal of Necrotus on him. Why I've got the Journal of Necrotus on him is not necessarily for his heals, but it does get additional HP, it does get additional defense, and the turn meter increase effects that he applies to the allies are boosted by 15%. So I find that quite helpful. As we look at his masteries, I can't really say much about this. I need to be honest with you guys. Masteries is a place that I'm very, very lazy in. All I do is I load up Hell Hades on their website. I go to the champion that I want to build and I use masteries from there. Not going to sit here and pretend I do them myself because I don't. Those are the masteries that we've got down the defense tree, down the support tree. Saying this now has actually made me feel some kind of way. So I think I actually need to start building champions. Even if I don't build the masteries myself, but at least knowing what's on offer in the masteries so that I understand what's happening here and it's not just a copy-paste thing. I definitely think that's something I need to look at doing. To sum this up, this is his build, those are his skills. I'm in nowhere saying that I've got him built optimally. I'm not saying that the way I have him built is the best build for him. The way I built Glaicad is primarily focusing on his HP, on his defense, on his survivability, trying to get as much speed as possible. But I also forced a bolster set on him because he was the first champion that I built in bolster, because I had bolster when I got Glaicad and it just worked. So I'm sure that I can improve on his build, especially if I do sacrifice that bolster set. However, I haven't revisited his build since I've initially built him, and for now, he's okay. Let me know down in the comments below though, do you guys think I can build him better? If yes, tell me how you would build him. If you have a Glaicad on your account, tell me how you've built him, what masteries you use, what relics you use, what blessings you use. As I've said before, one of my favorite parts about doing all of this is being able to engage and converse with you all down in the comments below. So please feel free to let me know how you've built your Glaicad. If you don't have a Glaicad, how you would build him if you had him. Do you even want one? Yes? No? I guess we'll wait and see. I use Glaicad in every single bit of dungeon content. In every single Iron Twins, Glaicad is my speed lead. In every single dungeon, in every single potion keep, I've used Glaicad as my speed lead up until very, very recently. When I say recently, I mean like a week or two ago, when I realized, yo, I've got Padraig. Padraig has a speed aura for dungeon battles. And if I understand that correctly, that means all of these dungeons fall under that category. category. So I've started then using Padraig in like Ice Columns. I've started using him in Spiders, just for that speed aura. But some of the teams that are there already and it works, I just leave Glaicad in. Until I find the need to optimize, until I revisit that content, I'll keep Glaicad in it. The one area that I don't use Glaicad in at all is Classic Arena. But as you guys know, my Classic Arena team is built in a very specific way. They are the only team on my entire account that is speed tuned. So I don't see the need to put Glaicad into Arena. I also don't think that that's where Glaicad shines. But where we do use Glaicad is in Tag Team Arena. He's in Team 3, right there as the leader, and on the attack side, he's also in Team 3. The area of the game where Glaicad has come in and impacted the most is definitely in Faction Wars. Sylvan Watches was one of the first faction groups that I finished on my account, and Glaicad was a massive key player in successfully doing this. Off the top of my head, Glaicad, Padraig, Lemonisi, Creodin the Blue, those are the 4 that I would have definitely used. Glaicad being at the forefront of that team in the leading spot due to that speed aura, it's definitely where he's added the most immediate value to my account. Ironically enough, where a lot of you might disagree with me, which is okay, that's fine, I use Glaicad in my Demon Lord teams. As you can see there, I've 2-keyed Ultra Nightmare. I've already used those 2 keys for today, and you can see Glaicad is in the lead slot. I've tried so many different combinations of this team where I remove Glaicad, or I remove Venomage, or I remove Geomancer, or I remove anybody. We're focusing on Glaicad. I've tried so many times to put in a different speed lead. I've tried so many times to put in a different multi-reviver, and it simply doesn't work. This team with Glaicad in the leading spot does the most damage consistently for my clan boss team. And this is again why he's so underrated. Never once did I think, pulling Glaicad, that he would be in my clan boss team. And here we are, months later, Glaicad is still consistently in my clan boss team in that lead spot. I can also easily say that Glaicad is used throughout Doom Tower as well. If I don't need high resistance, which now I'm going to find myself needing a lot of due to being in hard Doom Tower, but then I use Rector. Throughout the entirety of normal Doom Tower, Glaicad's in the speed lead position. She provides the additional resistance as her aura for Doom Tower specifically. So now we use Rector because we do need a bit more resistance as we progress through Doom Tower hard. So let's move on to Curse City. Do we use Glaicad in Curse City? Of course we do. We use him wherever he's available. I need to say it in conjunction with why we use it. So Glaicad just fits into my team rosters and he stabilizes things. He just provides an element of stability that I don't find being introduced by other champions. Then also the consistency of his aura is crazy, and that's why I tend to use him in so many different areas of progression style content and just normal content as well. And I personally think that this is one of the best parts of Raid. Sometimes you get a champion that you don't expect to carry your account or to be impactful on your account, and they end up being exactly that, impactful and adding value in so many different areas of content within the game. But I can safely say Glaicad is the quiet champion that has indeed become a staple on my account, and I'm happy to have him, truly happy to have him, and I'm excited to continue building him as I evolve as a player and my understanding increases to then revisit his build and make him even better. When he was introduced to my account, when I pulled Glaicad, it was also a transition moment for me as a player where I stopped relying or stopped wanting nukers and damage dealers and everything, and I desperately needed utility champions, support champions, good revivers, good supports, and Glaicad came in at the perfect time to show me the value that can be added to your account with a great support champion. So I tend to appreciate utility more so now than damage dealers. I understand nukers are always attractive in their playstyles, they do big damage, and that is what it is. I think long term, nukers shine more alongside great support champions, and that is exactly what I feel Glaicad is added to my account. So I'm not just going to sit here and be like, he's this, he's that, he's all of these great things. He doesn't just come onto your account and solve everything. I mean, one theory that I have is he could be bottlenecking my damage in Clan Boss. Yes, okay, cool. I mentioned that I tested him, I took him out and put other people in, but maybe I just haven't built the proper team to get my Clan Boss damage out because I'm comfortable with Glaicad being the leader in my Clan Boss team. Why am I comfortable? Because the results speak for themselves. But he could be a bottleneck bottleneck in that regard, right? And also, pulling Glaicad is not going to solve tons of the struggles that you might find yourself having on your account. He's a Sylvan Watcher champion, therefore, he's only going to help in one faction in terms of faction pools. I already said I don't use him in Classic Arena. If you do pull a Glaicad, I don't want to sit here and tell you he is going to change everything and be account changing. No, I don't think that's what he's going to do. I just think that, honestly speaking, when I pulled him, I didn't know that he was going to be the most underrated champion on my account. Because if you look at meta champs, if you look at guides, if you look at all of these things, I didn't see Glaicad come up anywhere. Whenever I found myself consuming content about the great champs, he wasn't mentioned. So that's why I just wanted to talk about him. Not saying he's a meta champ, but he is a largely impactful champ and adds tons of value on my account. And I mean, that's why I can sit here confidently and say, honestly speaking, Glaicad has become one of the most important champions on my account, and that makes me happy. We'll work on building him slightly better. We'll revisit his kit and see exactly, maybe the Balsa set could be removed and put something else on there. Maybe we keep it and just manipulate other areas of his build. Let me know down below if you guys would like to see me actually, with the newfound knowledge that I've had over the months, maybe I revisit his build. If you guys want me to do that, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much once again to Raid for sponsoring this video and for hooking us up with our own download link that you can find in the description below. Please feel free to use that. You, your friends, your family, if you guys want to start a journey in Raid, find that link in the description, download the link from there. Directly supports me, directly supports the channel. Until the next video, happiness is a choice, kindness is free. Leave your mark, yo. Peace out.